just before the break, we both got to go and see a movie that we'd sort of been looking forward to for quite a number of years, The Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, that was hectic. Like, I hadn't, as we were discussing, I remember I saw the first one heaps, and then I reckon I saw the second one at the movies on my birthday when it came out. But I hadn't seen the third one, so like I kind of went in, and I kind of realized this like the morning of, and I was like, I'm just going to go in blind. And I found this, despite the fact that I missed a fair bit of it, I felt like it was the type of movie you could just come in cold to, or like having only seen the first one and really like you'd understand and you know what's going on. Like there was a few things that you might not have, but yeah, I found it very easy to follow along with, and I quite enjoyed it. I was quite disappointed it wasn't filmed in Sydney like the first one, but it's all right. Luckily we had another one, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's the first Matrix movie since 2003, and obviously it was a trilogy in the beginning. In my opinion, the trilogy went, the more and more movies it got through, it went further and further downhill. So I think this one did a good job of sort of recapturing sort of the spirit of the original Matrix. And like I said, at the start of the film, there's a lot of sort of references and breaking the fourth wall type things, where I think it has enough in there to sort of remind you of all the stuff that you might have missed. And for someone that hasn't seen the third one, it doesn't dive deeply into that lore that it's built up in that one. It's enough to sort of be like, hey, you should sort of understand if you've watched even just the first one, I think will be enough.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely found that. And
yeah.
I thought it was good casting. I thought Canon EOS was brilliant as always. And yeah, it was good to get to the movies and see like an action blockbuster, I guess.
Yeah, I did like that they managed to get all of sort of the main actors back. Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, obviously the two main people that you wanted back, but Jada Pinkett Smith also came back. And then the new additions to the cast were really good as well. I think Yahya Abdul-Mateen is a great actor. He's a good addition as the new Morpheus. Who else do we have? Jessica Henwick, Jonathan Groff, who's like, he's that actor that you kind of look at and be like, I've seen him somewhere before, but you never really know where. And he's just in a ton of stuff. And then I think the big surprise one was Neil Patrick Harris. What did you think of those people in the movie?
I thought Neil Patrick Harris was absolutely brilliant. He played that role really, really, really well. Because I didn't see any of the trailers either for it. I'm the type of guy that like I'll just go in cold turkey to these type of movies. You invite me to something, I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll come, whatever. I don't like watch the trailers. So I was really, yeah, I thought he was brilliant. And like I thought all the new actors and characters would complement the old heads as well. And it was just a very well put together film. But yeah, Neil Patrick Harris blew me away. He was so good. So good.
Especially for him, like it was such an unusual role as well, where he's playing, you think, the good guy for the majority of the movie, and then about 2/3 of the way through it just twists and it's like, oh wait, he's the bad guy. And I don't think I've ever seen him play a bad guy. Like he's always kind of the lovable side character.
Yeah, definitely. And like all throughout the movie, I was kind of just waiting for like someone to turn bad or whatever, or like just like the twist in it. And then like, yeah, like he just absolutely nailed it. So very impressed by him. I want to see him do more those type of roles.
Yeah, because we know he's a great like comedy actor, but I think between this and last year he was in I forget what it was called now. It's a show on Stan about the AIDS epidemic, and he plays like a serious role in that. And I think they're two of his like standout serious roles for me. So I'm excited to sort of see him dive into that a bit more moving forward. And for everyone that enjoys Neil Patrick Harris, I actually got to speak to him prior to the movie's release for the next issue of Pario magazine, which I'm hoping comes from the printer this week. Was delayed due to Christmas, but it shouldn't be far away. And we'll have an interview with Neil Patrick Harris going up on the website and in the print magazine this month.
That's hectic. That's well done. I'm very proud of you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of those interviews where I was like, okay, yeah, the nerves are hitting now, like just
Yeah.
before getting to speak to him. With The Matrix, Lana Wachowski returned to direct. What did you think of the story, particularly like obviously over the years, the Matrix trilogy has become like this big cult following in the trans community. Did you sort of pick up on the storyline there?
I didn't really, to be honest, until we were discussing it after the film. I completely just went over my head, and then afterwards, when you explained, I was like, "Oh wow, okay, like I got that, and like that's cool. Like it'd be cool to like watch it again when it eventually drops on a streaming service, and then watching that with like an open mind like that, and actually realizing that'd be definitely interesting to look at."
Yeah, so like I sort of went in knowing about the cult following that it has in the trans community. So I was like, I was kind of looking for it, but I think it does a really nice job of, if you are looking for it, it's not like in your face with that story. So in the first one, it's all about sort of Neo finding his identity and struggling with the dichotomy between the real life and the Matrix world. And then this one sort of really highlights that, and it makes it so that the story is, you think, centered around Neo, but really it's centered around the pairing of Neo and Trinity. So the the main male female characters, and how apart they're both really powerful, but when they're combined and they work together, that's when they really excel and achieve something that couldn't be achieved before. And I think even like the cinematography in this one sort of shows not just the trans story arc, but I think Lana Wachowski's own personal transition story. So the first three movies are very sort of artificial, dark, brooding lighting, whereas this one, now that Lana has actually transitioned, it sort of comes through in the movie, where this one is all like bright, colorful, natural light, and it felt like a celebration and a statement of, I'm in the right place now.
Yeah, I like that. That's something. Yeah, I definitely have to like rewatch and be like, oh yeah, I get that. I'll probably rewatch the first Matrix and then the new one. I wouldn't do the other two, but yeah, it'd be definitely interesting to now know that, rewatch and then watch it in that kind of open light as well. So yeah,
like watching this one, that's when it really the allegory for the trans community like really cemented in me. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it now. Like I sort of knew that was a thing in the previous three, but never sort of really picked up on all the clues and stuff. But then with this one, I was like, okay, yep, it's finally clicked for me now, and I totally understand why this is so beloved.
Yeah, of course. It was interesting. Came out last week that, speaking of beloved, Keanu Reeves apparently donated 70% of his salary from the original Matrix film for cancer research, because his sister or someone had cancer, so he got like $10 million in '99, and then like 30 or 35 as the movie became big, and then apparently had donated 70% of his salary to like cancer or leukemia research or something. So it's interesting that that came out now, all these years later, but it just goes to show that he's also such a beloved human, so to speak.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then like obviously after watching the movie, I was like in the mood for more Matrix, and they dropped a demo game on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X based on the Matrix. So what this is, it's like an open world. It's basically a showcase for the new Unreal Engine 5 tech, that moving forward, all the sort of the big games are going to be built on Unreal Engine 5. And this is an incredible showcase for the future of video games. There was watching it, and like when it started, I was like, okay, I'm watching a video recording of Keanu and Carrie Ann talking to me. But it turns out that the entire thing is in-game engine footage. So everything is animated. Nothing in this game is video. It's all CG in game, what you will see in a game moving forward, and incredible. I was watching it just being like, no, this has to be like a video, and then they're going to transition, but there's never the transition. So I was like, oh wow, this is crazy.
That's mental.
So I'm very excited for like the future of video games and possibly even like movies, because it is that well done that you can't really tell the difference. It was crazy.
Yeah, wow. Hectic. I'll have to look at some footage of that. Cool. Like that.
Yeah, and then in closing, I just think the Matrix Resurrections probably goes up to, I would put it in the number 2 slot for me for the 4 movies, right behind the original. I think the original is still by far the best, but this one was certainly much better than the third one and pretty substantially better than the second one as well. So right up there for me.
Yeah, I put it at number 2 for me as well, mainly because I only remember the first one and that one, so it's made the top 2.